All right, so again, this is Connor Eller, going through Instructor 2 project. It is now 5:01. We are resuming with the practical applications portion. Unfortunately, the iPad device being used to capture this course has a very low battery. We've had to make some pivots. We added an additional, at 5:02, 10 minutes break for the third and final break at the last session. Duration of time should now be 3 hours and 8 minutes. So we're going to initiate the practical skills now. We're going to have Justin Yeager come in first. So we're going to go through drill number 1, which, as you recall, is to identify all the different seeks or thermals that we have and go through their modes and identify the properties of them. So when you're ready, we'll go through. So we're looking for model name and any unique features.
Say 52.
We're doing one at a time, fellas.
You say 5200?
Okay. You know it's an MSA by the way that it is.
Yes. It says MSA on it.
Hello, Captain Rapid.
What are you guys doing?
Recording my Fire Instructor 2 course.
So we'll go through the batteries.
Yep. This one, heat on it.
Thank you. Battery?
Yep, that's
And then usually there's another battery in the where it seats.
Charging port.
Yes.
What kind of handle is that?
D handle,
Okay.
power button,
Power button.
pull it on for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's probably dead.
And
It is. Okay.
But
So it
this one-
eliminates.
Yep. And then it auto switches from low sensitivity to high sensitivity. And it'll go by the green track. Huh? 300.
Give or take.
Okay. And then you'll know that it's switching by the green tracker.
All right. And are there any control buttons other than the power button?
Nope.
All right. And that was your.
This is your carabiner. Yep. For attaching.
Next.
I say 6,000 plus series.
Yep.
There's a battery in this one as well. And then you'll just change that out if you need to.
So because these both MSAs are pretty similar, they're built on the front. What were some components that we didn't cover?
On the lens.
On the 5200, the lens. Yep.
This one, the lens, the charging port where you attach it,
Fantastic. What does that one have that that one does not?
flashlight, and a laser. Power button.
Yep.
And this one also has zoom that one does not.
Okay.
And then it also has several different modes.
It may take a second to warm up first before it allows you to switch. Now you have. That's engaged. It's telling you which mode you're in. Black hot.
Black hot.
Fire nice.
And iron book.
Iron button.
Rainbow.
Units in route, EMS.
Search and rescue.
10 Northeast Tudor Road.
And white hot.
Visual be located attention. EMS
And then we're at
reading
the,
1705.
Twice for the laser and once for the flash.
Yep. Alright. Good power off. We don't have the one. There's one you're not seeing here. Which one is that?
The face piece.
Okay. Which is called the
I don't remember what it's called.
manufacturer's or Airfax.
The Scott Max.
Scott's. Which
This
has
one-
power buttons and batteries.
Yeah, it's Bluetooth. So this is the Seek Thermal 100. This one has the lens here, and then this one also has a flashlight, which doesn't have to be powered on. You use a flashlight.
Okay. Does it have multiple modes?
Yep. And it's got a little memory. Also has a photo memory. I've never done this before.
display. Charging port.
Charging port. This one is like a USB connection right here.
Micro USB with a rubber covers of magnetic rubber.
Yep.
Anything else on it? Maybe hanging down below.
The carabiner.
Fantastic. Good job. Alright, send someone over. Rotate through.
Turn it on.
Thank you. Next. Alright, this is drill number 1, identification of the different components and different cameras that we have. One is missing, which one is that?
The Scott's mask.
Okay, and how does it operate?
Turn it on.
A simple push button, Yeah.
And it connects to the camera,
which
or
is
as
heads
it
up
should.
display. Okay.
And that's it.
Alright, so what do we got here?
Seek.
Yep. So let's go
Do
through
you
it.
need like a nomenclature?
We'll just go through the different parts.
Okay. Seek.
Yep.
On button.
Okay.
There's a flashlight.
Yes. And what are you looking at?
This.
The display?
Display. Screen. And you take pictures with this button.
Yes.
This button. You scroll through your different modes.
How many are there?
I think there's 3 in here.
Okay. So what's on the front of it?
Screen.
Yes.
Oh,
Front of it.
the lens.
So it's flashlight,
Sorry, lens.
lens,
A little bit
and
of
then how does it get power?
processor. Power.
Power to the unit,
Battery.
which is charged by what?
Plug in my own charging cord. Plug in.
Plugged into the micro USB at the rear
Yep.
with the rubber dust cover. And how does that attach to your person?
With the lanyard.
The lanyard and clip. Fantastic. Okay.
Start with this one. MSA 5200. And
So
we
you
got
have
a lanyard.
kind of same things, lanyard.
Got a
Yep.
battery.
Yep.
Pop this off. It's in here. Usually they're just spare. You can do that.
No,
Okay.
identification is important part.
Screen.
Display. Yep.
Lens.
Yep.
Turn it on. Hold it. Boots up in less than 2 seconds.
When it has battery, yes.
Okay.
It does not.
And this is the only button, so if you have any selection you want to make, you just click it.
Yep. And how's it charged?
It has battery.
Where's the port for that?
You have to take it out, and you have to put it in the pumper,
Or
or you put it on
ideally with triple.
the charging dock also.
Yes.
Yes. You clean these, clean the ones on the dock. Still doesn't work.
We're getting there. New truck's coming. Hopefully new takes with it.
Maybe 6,000.
Okay.
Essentially all the same features, except when you turn it on.
So you found the power button,
I did. Yep. Power button. Zoom.
which changes your display.
Yep.
Located right there.
Right the pizzle. And then you can go through your different modes too. There's 6.
So with those, you have to press it several times to engage mode selection.
Tourist man, 17
Press it. This tells you you're in white hot, measure directional. Part of the integrated compass, it's moderately correct.
Fire.
Fire nice, yeah.
I don't remember what this called.
Iron bow, or the burn in.
Rainbow.
Yep. And the one we didn't talk about because it's not a program from search and rescue, which is effectively white hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what?
How do we attach that?
The lanyard.
Which would ideally be attached
To
right
this
there.
right here.
Correct. Okay. That's it. See somebody else over?
Alex, you've been summoned.
Alright, so this is drill number 1. The station is identification of the different ticks, who manufactures them, what model number we have, and then we'll go through the basic components. So if there's a battery, where is it located, how do we charge it, what are we looking at, where's the display, if we can select different modes, how do we do so. There is one missing from the station. Which one is that?
The base piece.
Scout sight. Alright, so let's run through these. Doesn't matter where you start, let's just do all 3 of them.
D200 series. It's by MSA.
Perfect.
Battery compartments in here.
How do we turn it on?
green button.
Okay. It probably won't. Where's our display?
There's the display.
Okay. And then that's receiving an image through what?
The lens.
Yep.
Frame.
And if we were to charge this, how would it get charged?
Put these in
Contacts on a charging port?
make sure the lights up.
Yeah. And then, because we want to, be able to use two hands whenever we can, how do you attach it?
So that where you feel comfortable.
Put your hanger on. Okay.
Series.
Yep.
Same green button.
Yep.
Made by MSA. And screen and lens.
Yep.
Charging ports the same way.
Okay. What else is located on the front of the 5200 is not?
The flashlight and laser.
Flashlight and laser pointer, fantastic. And then how do you cycle through modes?
This button on the right.
Because you mentioned zoom already. Is it press and hold? Once you press and hold, it'll tell you you're in what mode?
White hot.
Yep. And then you also have your compass display. So obviously as you press that button, you cycle through different modes. What are some of the other modes?
Black hot. Fire.
Fire and ice.
Iron bow.
Yep.
Rainbow.
Yep. And then the last one we barely talked about in class was search and rescue, which is not a program mode from the NSA. It's custom. Okay. I'll work on that. Let's go ahead and go for the other one so we can keep things moving.
It's the Seek Take Thermal Imager. Made by Seek.
Okay. Fire Pro 100 series.
Yep. Non-buttons the middle one. And the screen's right there.
Sure.
Lens is right there.
Yep.
Flashlight's right there.
Yep.
Charging ports here.
Micro USB.
Depends on which model this one is. And got different modes on this button.
How many modes?
It's like 3.
Yep. Alright. Good job. Let's send Austin in. Yep. So this station is drill number 1. We're just going through and identifying each thermal imaging camera that we have, going through the components where the power button, display, battery, lens, all that different stuff is, going one by one. Obviously we have 3, but we discussed 4 today. Which one's missing?
The site.
Scott site? Yep.
Site.
Okay. So wherever you want to start, we'll just go through them one at a time, talk through each individual component of it.
It's the seat. Contacts. Flashlight. If we turned on, even when the tick is not on. Power on. Button.
And you're looking at the
Screen.
display.
The display. Got a charging port at the bottom. Lanyard. Change to the settings. The top left button.
That lets you cycle through modes.
Yeah, you
Okay.
got survey. I think one's fire. Fire. And then. Pro color.
Yep.
Survey.
And colors are really just for demonstration purposes.
Yeah.
So. Where's the lens located on this device?
Right on the front left side.
Okay. Good.
This is the 6,000 MSA 6,000 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Power on in front.
Is that battery powered?
Yes. It's on. You can change through the modes with this right button.
Yep.
So,
Let's go ahead and cycle through some.
you got
This is something we didn't cover in the course, is you have to press and hold that button.
okay. So it's a white hot.
Yep. which also populates your compass.
Oh yeah, black hot,
Yep.
fire and ice,
Yep.
ironborn, rainbow,
And then there's a search and
and
rescue.
then search and rescue, yeah, and then zoom in with this button.
Yep.
Flashlight on the front with this button,
Okay.
and then you can click it again for the laser, and then click again to shut it off.
And how do we charge it?
By putting it into the port or the mount on whichever apparatus it comes off of.
Which makes a connection with the
Battery source or in the front probes.
contacts.
Contacts. Yep.
And you have a battery you can obviously switch out, located.
Yep.
Okay.
And then this one is a MSA 5200. Same thing. Button here. D handle.
It's not going to power on the
Let's
battery.
say that
station.
one. Okay. And then lanyard.
Yep.
Or similar to the 6000 plus for charging. It's got the contacts. Go in there. This one has like the Velcro that goes around it. That one has like the screen cover.
Yep.
That helps hold it.
All right. Fantastic. Good job.
Sweet.
All right. So we're going to move on to drill number 2. We'll move that here in a second. All right. If you want to come with me, we'll just kind of do a discussion board here. So to expedite this, drill number 2 is the compatibilities and capabilities comparison. So your objective is to understand the distinct capabilities of each tick and determine the best one for different scenarios. Obviously, not all ticks are the same, so this helps you match the tick with specific tasks. So, talk me through some of the distinct capabilities of the Seek tick that we have.
More so not like with the weight and everything.
Mhm.
So it's lighter, obviously. It goes onto your pack, so if you're not using it, you can let go. It doesn't get in the way. Versus the other ones, same concept, but they might be a little bulkier. They might catch on things when you're trying to go through tight spaces.
Are there any scenarios that come to mind where the Seek would be more beneficial than either the larger MSAs or the Scott set?
I do know, like, when you're going into an attic through entry through a closet, those small squares, and you might get up on a ladder where just your upper body is there. You just grab it up, pop it where it's at. Where it's got the bigger one, maybe you can't fit it through the hole, so you have to go back down, pull it up, and then go back up into the hole.
So quick surveys?
Quick surveys, yep.
Okay. Size up kind of thing?
Yep.
Fantastic. What about the 5200 or the 6000?
That'd be
Obviously,
good for.
they're very similar, but only one is assigned to a unit, so we're going to treat them as an individual. They are both one.
Okay.
When would you want to utilize that?
I would like that one for scanning a room when you first make near the entryway of the room. That way you can hold out in front instead of you're like looking down the whole time with the small one. Screen's larger, so you'll be able to see more.
Yeah.
You won't have to sweep as much, so you can see a casualty on the ground versus the tick. You might have to rotate it a little bit more. And then obviously the 6000 plus has that flashlight built into it, and the Seek has a flashlight, but that one has a laser too. So if you really need to tell someone, hey, look over there, if they've got their light on the pack, you can just point the laser and they know exactly if there's noise or if they can't see you.
Sure. So if you were encountering a primary search in a smoke-filled room, which tick would you choose and why?
I probably would choose the 6000 plus because you're already wearing your Seek, so that way that could be your backup if something happens, or if you hand it off to someone else, then you have an extra one there.
Sure.
Probably just because I can see a little bit more. If conditions change, I can get, like obviously I know I'm coming into a tight area, I already have it, then I can always hand it off to someone and keep my Seek with me. But I would probably stick to the 6000 plus.
Yeah.
Just be able to see a little bit more.
A little more, a little better.
A little better, clear
clarity.
resolution.
What about locating the scene of a fire during like quick operations?
If something I want to move quick, probably the Seek,
Okay.
just because I know I have it on me. That frees up one hand for a tool versus like I can just grab my pack, grab a tool, and go. Whereas with that 6,000 plus, I'd grab my pack, grab a tool, and then have to go grab that, and I can still click it on. But if I'm busy trying to throw my gloves on and everything, it's more likely I might set it down and then forget to pick it back up.
Absolutely. Okay, good job.
All right.
Send someone else over. Hello.
Hello again.
We're going to visual number 2.
Okay.
In 1 second. All right, Mr. Yeager, we're going through drill number 2 here. So this is understanding the tick capabilities and comparisons, so selecting which one will be appropriate for which type of task. In this scenario, we're going to treat both the 6000 and the 5200 as one tick, an MSA if you will, because each truck doesn't have both, it has one or the other. So
Okay.
that'll be your decision-making kind of tick. You have your seat, and then if you have a Scott sight, it's also an option as well. So in what scenario would a seek outperform a MSA?
So a Seek would be better off for maybe a firefighter on a hose line who's not able to. I mean, you can clip one of the MSAs to your pack, but it's a lot of more weight versus the Seek, which is pretty lightweight, stays more up closer towards your core.
Yeah.
And if you have a hose line and you're advancing, you can use the pretty easy to hold a hose line and grab that small device and scan a room.
Okay. Good. What are some of the advantages of the MSA over the Seek?
Some of the advantages would be maybe the wider view.
Sure. Wider field of view. Yeah.
Yep, it's a bigger device, so the clarity, the resolution would be better versus the Seek. It's smaller and
Yeah, resolution and clarity go a long way. So, in this scenario, why don't you tell me which thermal imager you choose and why? You're making primary search on a smoke-filled room with unknown occupancy. Which camera would you choose?
probably MSA like the 6000 series plus.
Why?
Based off the videos we watched, it seems like using that device to be at the doorway in a search, you can just turn it sideways and you can basically see the whole room and do a scan a lot quicker
Sure.
with higher resolution.
Good. How about locating the seat of a fire during operations?
I mean, I feel like either one would do the job, but
If you were on the nozzle, which would you select?
if I was on the nozzle personally, I would rather have the Seek. I feel like it's a good enough device that I feel like if I had a great understanding of it, which after this class I feel a lot better, I feel like I could find the seat of the fire with the Seek.
Okay. Good.
But I'd rather have the bigger one if possible.
If everything was candy, and we'd have all kinds
Exactly.
of different stuff. Yeah, absolutely. All right, good job.
Thank you.
Come back over here. Will you check on them and see if they got that? All right, Chase. Rule number 2 is the thermal imaging comparison of capabilities. So we're going to go through and discuss which camera you would select for a certain application and why. For the purposes of this station, because not all apparatus have a 5200 and a 6000, we will treat those as one unit, the MSA. We also have the Seek and the Scott site available. So, what advantages can you find to a Seek over a MSA?
Small, portable. It's on you at all times.
Sure. And when would you want to select that one instead of a larger handheld one?
If you need more mobility, if you're on like the end of a hose line,
Okay.
or you're doing a two-man search and you just need one person's MSA, you can quickly reference it.
Sure. And theoretically, under the auspices of mobility, which would be the best?
Seek is the most mobile.
What about the one that attaches directly to your face?
Well,
Remains in partial field of view.
yeah.
Correct. Okay. So, we're going to isolate 2 scenarios here. I just want you to describe which camera you would choose for the scenario and why.
Okay.
So, The first one is you're making a primary search on a smoke-filled room with unknown occupancy.
MSA.
For what reason?
If you're gonna confirm something, it is just the most reliable and the best camera to do so with.
Okay. What makes it the best camera?
The contrast and the capabilities are just,
The clarity and processing
Clarity,
speed are
yeah.
substantially greater.
yeah.
Sure. Okay. And how about making the location or locating the seat of a fire during operations? As in, you are the person on the nozzle.
Yeah, I mean, I think both would get the job done, but as is with same statement as last, ideally you'd have the MSA. It's unlikely you would have it, so you'd likely use your Seek. But
Right.
in ideal conditions, you could do it with the MSA.
Sure. What would be the benefit of the Seek over the MSA in that particular scenario?
Mobility.
Mobility.
So when you
Yep.
quick reference, set it down, continue working.
Yeah. Both hands are available. There's no obstructions hitting you and slowing you down.
Yep.
Good. All right.
Next.
Skinny. Yeah, it wasn't working. That's all I need extension for. Okay. So this is drill number 2. This is thermal imaging camera capabilities and comparisons. So we're going to discuss some of the cameras, some differences between them, and then we'll go through a couple scenarios where you can select a camera and why. So for the purposes of this station, because not all trucks have an MSA 6000 and 200, we're going to refer to them as one collective thermal, the MSA. You also have the Seek and the Scott site. So what are some of the key differences between an MSA and a Seek?
The size and range of different types of visibility. You can see like got that ice hot or fire and ice.
So different
black
different
and-
modes. Yeah. Okay. What other differences are there?
They're much more accurate than the Seeks are.
The MSAs. So would that be due to like processor speed or capability on that resolution? Okay. And then the Scott site, when would you want to use that over others?
Guess if your hands are full or you got to do a lot of stuff with your hands and
Sure. Mobility, freedom of movement. Got it. All right. So for the following 2 scenarios, I want you to identify which thermal you would select to utilize and provide a reason for why. First scenario is that you are conducting a primary search in a smoke-filled room with unknown occupancy.
probably take the MSA because I can do that and then give me a better view.
Better scan? What makes it better?
Just the capabilities of it, and then I can select different modes depending on what I see fit.
Good. Scenario 2, you are charged to locate the seat of a fire during operations, but you're doing it from the position of being a nozzle. You're on the nozzle. Which one would you select?
I take the Seek, the smaller one, because I'm not really looking for like fire to be much more visible than a victim. And then I can just put it back on my shoulder strap and keep going.
All right. Good. That's all there is to it. I'm now going to go set up for drill number 3. The fire pro, they're around 6. Well, so MSA has to buy their proprietary technology and then upcharge you to utilize it.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
All right. Relocation. Hopefully the battery doesn't die. All right. Hang out there for a minute. Come on in. Alright. So you can power the tick on. We're calling an audible on this one, so we're going to utilize the ticks to perform scanning operations of a fire ground. We're assuming the fire ground in here due to our inability to utilize the other side of the building because there was an unforeseen issue with getting into it right now. So in this operation, you can select thermal, either one and or both, and demonstrate how we would utilize it in a scanning motion, both for search and rescue, and for isolation location of other hazards such as flow path, exhaust vent, seat of fire, etc.
Okay, so search and rescue, enter the room, do the gangster grip first thing, and you want to capture as much as you possibly can, obviously, but just start to the wall, and then you can do a quick scan, see what kind of heat you get.
So what are we looking at in the walls there?
So those could be anything reflective.
Mhm.
So
What about
glass, windows.
What about the vertical lines?
Those would be your studs in the wall.
And we're seeing those because of what?
Because the heat, there's actually difference, like the heat is different inside of them.
Shift that to white hot and see what it does.
A little bit different.
It's a little diminished. We're also getting some burn in here.
Yeah.
So in your scan patterns, what are you looking for? How are you conducting them?
So just right to left, floor to ceiling, gonna do your scan, and then overhead.
Okay.
You can also do a scan.
What are you looking for from overhead?
Any type of hazard, any type of really just hazards.
Okay.
You're not gonna have a victim chilling on the ceiling, but you could have a hole where you could have some type of flow path
Sure.
coming in or out.
There is a victim in this room. Can you identify them?
I would assume it's the heat signature over there because we know it's not going to be the iPad or the computer.
So let's walk over towards it.
So now that you're getting closer, you can see a lot better contrast of
Yeah.
the person, the victim.
And what are we seeing? Where is the heat concentrated?
Armpits, groin,
Large circulation areas where you have radiant heat
Yeah.
loss.
legs.
So this could be somebody wearing heavy clothing,
Mm-hmm.
depending on time of year. Okay, good. And if we were to find a scene of a fire, what would we expect to see? How would the screen display change?
It would go to the low visibility,
Low sensitivity,
low
low gain.
sensitivity.
unforeseen circumstances, we are gonna utilize, this room for this evolution. We're gonna go through and basically demonstrate how to conduct search and looking for the seat of a fire. Walk me through how you would physically conduct a search with the thermal, what you're looking for, and try to locate the victim that's in this room. Okay. So, Alex, we'll have you go first. If you wanna wait. Which camera did you select?
Pick the MSA 6000.
So when you're conducting a search of a room, just a visual scan, sweep, whatever, how do you conduct it?
I guess I'm showing left to right, see if I can notice anything obvious. Kind of looks like way back left.
Is it a quick motion, slow motion, controlled?
Controlled slow so you don't freeze it up in case heat decides to switch modes or anything.
Okay. And then where else do you
Also
scan?
go up and down.
Sure. And do you see an increase in your field of view when you conduct a scan with that mode?
Yeah.
So you kind of see floor to ceiling? So, and then we scan the ceiling overhead looking for what?
The thermal moving,
Mhm.
where smoke and heat's going.
So let's take a look at this wall over here. What can you identify inside of that wall?
The studs.
Heat sources, studs, which is due to,
The heat from the outside being different
there
from
you go.
inside.
All right, so scan and locate the victim. And then take me to him.
I saw him over here.
Okay. So watching the screen, what are you seeing change as you approach him?
It's more white and more human shaped.
Okay. Where are we seeing the heat signatures?
His legs, his armpits.
So areas of high circulation with radiant heat. This could be someone's wearing winter clothing, down on a fire overcome by snow. All right, when you're looking for the seat of the fire, what are you looking for on the display?
Zones that are hotter and a lot of movement.
Okay.
Follow the smoke.
So ideally, you'll be able to see air currents with hot gases and heat coming through, right? And then the closer you get, what will show up on the screen?
A different, like, they'll go to low sensitivity.
Sure. And then what? Maybe even before that, what would you see? That's not on the screen right now.
Bunch of different colors.
Identifying different heat levels to clue you in. Okay, good. All right, thank you. We send Austin here in a minute. All right. So you got the synopsis. We're gonna demonstrate how to scan a room. If there is a victim to be located, let's talk about what you'd look for when you're looking for the seat of a fire, and just kind of walk around talking through the process.
Okay, so if I would search,
Mhm.
just pick which side I'm going to, but, or if somebody's going to search a smaller room,
Mhm.
could just kind of scan,
Is it a quick movement, slow movement,
Slow
controlled,
movement.
spastic?
make sure that I'm not moving too fast so I can track what I'm looking at and that the tape has enough time to capture everything.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be looking for any bodies, obviously closer to the doorway.
And why are you rotating your hand that way?
The inverted grip. This way I can only see half the room, maybe not the whole ceiling. This way, if I do it inverted, I can see a lot more.
Okay.
So I can see all the way up and down,
And what are you
Just
scanning
seeing
for when you're pointing at the ceiling?
just making sure, looking for flow path.
Mhm.
Heat.
Hot air currents coming over you, if you're gonna be exhaust jet.
Yep.
Okay, and take a look at that wall. Let's see what we can
Which
identify on
wall?
this wall, right here.
Studs.
Sure. Studs, heat sources, how can you see the studs? What does that tell you?
Outside's cold. Studs are probably warmer.
So why would that be important on fire ground?
Because if you're looking through, maybe it's hotter inside.
Which would tell you
That there's heat in the.
keep the structure, possibly help you isolate the seat of the fire on the 360. Right, let's look at the victim.
For windows as well. Victim.
You can do a side-by-side comparison.
Big difference. lot easier to see the whole room on the big,
Mhm.
the MSA.
And its refresh rate's higher, so as you scan, it stays smooth, it's not choppy.
Big
Did you
show.
find the victim?
Yep.
Alright, let's approach him and tell me what you see.
You see the ground around him is cooler, his body temperature,
Where are we seeing body temperature?
in the armpits, kind of around the groin area, the knees, maybe where the whole feet.
So- High areas of circulation where radiant heat's pretty obvious.
Yep.
Maybe this could be somebody wearing winter clothing, so the outside layer is more room temperature, but you're still getting core temp persisting through it.
Yep.
Good, alright. Interesting to do a side by side, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Whatever order is.
Awesome.
I'm the same, sometimes goes by hands. So we kind of had to go on audible on this one. Wasn't able to utilize part of the facility that I was expecting to. So in this one, we're gonna utilize the camera to conduct search. I want you to walk me through how you would conduct a search, kind of actually do one. Talk through what you're seeing, your approach to it. And then we're gonna try to isolate the victim as well as discuss isolating the seat of a fire.
Okay. Are
Your cameras, and you can use both of them in a
Okay.
side-by-side comparison.
What's the?
So we're entering a room and we have,
saying?
it is what it is right now.
Okay, so I'll say it's like smoky, but the heat isn't really getting to
Sure,
me.
yeah, light smoke,
Um,
just enough to make it difficult to see through.
yeah, so this one's sideways.
What's the benefit of going sideways?
You can see higher up and down, so you can see the ground, and then you can see all the way to the ceiling.
Okay.
Less passes. So I probably start like looking at my feet,
Scan low to high.
scan low. Then once I get to where I think I see a little bit of the ceiling, I see a little light on the, or something on the top left.
Okay.
Then I'll scan left to right.
Wall to wall, sure.
Yep. And I see the TV, everything.
As you look at that wall, what can you identify in it?
That wall, so I see the TV. I see where the laptop and everything is in front of it. I see the iPad. I see the lights where they just got turned off, so the heat's still there.
Sure.
And
What
the
else
lights
can
on
you
the
see?
ceiling.
In the
exit.
wall specifically.
On the wall. Oh, the studs? Is that the studs?
Yeah.
Yep, and
You
then,
can try that with the smaller camera too. When would that be beneficial? We want to isolate, hey, those are studs.
so you know they're like weight bearing wall.
Sure. And
Yeah.
what would that tell us about what's behind it?
Oh, like behind that wall for the weight bearing, so it's probably like either the outside or another the room, I would say. There's
If we were-
heat possibly like
Yeah, so like right now, those studs are they hotter or colder than the drywall they're behind?
they are hotter. Wait, hold on.
So you're in white hot mode.
Okay, so they are colder.
So that tells us there's a cold wall behind it. But in imagination land, if that was inverted and you're doing a 360 and you saw that walking around a structure, what would that tell you?
Oh, so if it was, I mean like it was
If
black
those were
stuff.
white instead of black.
Oh, if those were white, then heat has gotten to them
Mhm.
and it's weakening the supports.
Sure. And that can help you isolate. On
Or
a
I was like, where like, so if there, I don't think there's a fire in this room, but then I'm like, okay, there must be a fire on the other side.
Yeah, so as we're
In the
conducting a
other room.
360, that can help us say, hey, there's a lot of heat right here. Nothing's vented, nothing's showing, but now we see something.
Yeah, so I come in, obviously,
Okay.
as I'm scanning, I see there's tables, there's chairs.
Sure.
So if like it was a bed, like oh, there's a bed when you go search that bed, or if there's something I can't see behind it,
Mhm.
like some piece of furniture, I know, okay, I'm gonna come up to that, I'm gonna have to get around it, and then that corner, I see what looks like the outline of the body.
How can you tell from here?
You can see like looks like limbs.
What can you use on that particular thermal to help you identify
Oh,
what's
so
here?
the temperature. So if it's a human, the temperature would be different. And then I can zoom in,
Mhm.
so get closer. And then as I zoom in, I can see that it does look like they have extremities sticking out.
Okay, so let's walk up on it and tell me kind of what you see.
So So we get closer. I'm seeing like, so the legs are towards me, head is towards a door.
Sure. And what
And
do you
then
see?
to the left of them, there's some,
That's the power.
oh, the power cord, okay. So I see arms and legs.
Yeah. Where's the heat showing up?
He's showing up on, looks like the kind of by the knees, and then up by the armpits,
Maybe the groin.
the groin areas, the
So-
hot spots.
So high circulation, places we would pad for hyperthermia
Yep.
with cold packs. So that could be a person wearing some winter clothing, a jacket, a hoodie, but it's showing where the radiant heat's coming from.
Yeah.
Those could be realistic signatures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alright.
And then when you're done scanning wall to wall, where else would you scan?
Oh, to the ceiling, and a little bit back behind me, so in case there's a fire in the floor above me.
Sure. Or if there's exhaust jet coming over because
Yeah,
you're
and
wearing PPE.
Yeah, and then if I flow path is where it's blowing from.
Good. All right. Good job.
Was that last one?
Yep. That's
Or for
number
this
3.
one?
Yep. So we're gonna go try to utilize the burn box to discuss actual layering and everything else.
Read their notes and you drop them.
Yeah, if you don't mind. We need to see if that tower has smoked up yet. I'm gonna try to get to the next one if we can. The battery will last.
Well, we need to plug into that power cord,
Use
and
this
it
right
has
here.
the plugins
Yeah,
on the side.
the burn box is right out here. So. Can you see if there's a lighter in case the smoke causes?
Yeah, there is a little hand lighter.
Oh, right here. Let's see. Bird's nest or no bird's nest? What do you think?
No bird's nest.
Nope. Alright. Perfect.
Make him file.
Yeah. That's kind of windy. That thing not working? It has a food in it. Smoke, liquid smoke.
Audible?
It's not coming on. Which is fine because this last scenario did also cover what we wanted to accomplish in drill number 5. So due to facility issues with the smoke machine not working properly, we're not going to be able to locate a victim. We will just utilize the previous scenario where we identified how to do a search pattern and also identify victims to cover that. Do you mind reeling that up?
You do the old elbow technique?
Yeah. I've learned that.
Is it hard on them? Like makes it
Yeah.
tight?
Voids
You
of
have a
memory.
cord that, you have a cord that long, it's so thick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chase. Let's see how it does. All right, let's let's go don some bunker gear real quick. I think we got it going. Leave that in here just in case.
A little forest even. Why would you be concerned?
Well, if he doesn't wake up often enough to feed, but
I think it's fine.
gross. I'm gonna cut you up some more and just say cut it up, please.
This fire is taking. Smells like it. All right, yeah, we got smoke production, airflow. Small fire. All right. So, one at a time here. We're going to, in the interest of time, due to constraints that our crews have, we're going to combine the final 2 drills into one. So one at a time, our students will come out here and identify a little bit of fire dynamics, talking about flow path, looking at exhaust jets, and other components as illustrated through this firebox. Once they're completed with that, we'll walk over and simulate a large area search. So they can discuss some of the tactics, utilize the camera and the search patterns for large area, and we'll progress through that before we resume in the classroom for the written examination and end of course. Alex, would you like to go first?
Yep.
All right. With this being a fairly fresh fire, our thermals may not be fully established. Let's see if anything's come out of it yet. All right. So, walk me through a little bit of what you're seeing here from the aspect of fire dynamics.
The box with the fire in it is much hotter than the surrounding
Yep.
area. A little bit of waves coming off the top to do the heat.
Okay. So if we were scanning for a fire, we're progressing down the hallway, and this would be a doorway. Tell me about what you see here that would clue you into what's behind that door.
If the door is much hotter than the doors around it, then the fire is probably behind that room.
Okay.
So the room is probably pretty hot.
So in looking at this image, what are you seeing that's cluing you into the fact there is probably a fire behind it?
The door is hot and there's some thermal waves
Okay. So you're kind of building a thermal
layer.
Fantastic. All right. So we talked about controlling flow path. The fire is still building behind here, so it may not be as strong for you as it will be for the final person. But what can we do when we enter this room to alter the flow path other than flowing water? What are we doing?
When you open the door, you're adding fresh air.
Yeah, as part of the fire.
That you're using.
Right. It requires which 4 things?
Fuel, heat, oxygen, and the chemical reaction.
Fantastic chemical chain reaction. So let's introduce some air and see what changes here. We have a little bit of visually turbulent smoke production coming out, right? We have an air current flowing in. How has that door now changed?
Got hotter.
Okay. We're seeing more heat around it. And if I crack this open, let's see if we can capture. Yeah, come over here to this side. Visually, What do you see on the thermal?
Change it.
What's coming out of here?
Steam, heat.
That would be your exhaust, jet,
Yeah.
flow path. So it's ventilating itself, and now we're seeing changes. When I open this lid, what are we seeing on the lid? More heat, right? So, bring your camera over here. And you're tall enough you can probably see down in there. On your camera, do you have any visual changes?
I can see the flames go out,
Okay.
and they switch to low.
To low sensitivity? All right.
Your mustache.
Alright, leave it open. Alright.
Your mustache isn't as hard as the
The camera won't hear us very well, but from this position I want you to talk me through a lot of your research. We're told that maybe moving in this general direction. How would you guys learn to enhance capabilities? Next.